Big E, auto racing showcase since 1954, the world's greatest dirt track. That's a couple of names that this racetrack is known for, but this track is called the Eldora Speedway, located in Rossburg, Ohio. Hi everybody, I'm Tanner Sharp, and welcome to 3Y TV. Alongside me in the booth is Mr. Peter Short, and back somewhere in the production truck around the track area, pushing all the buttons and doing all the camera work, is Carlos Acosta. Peter, welcome to Eldora Speedway. And this is the world's famous half-mile clay dirt track. It has 24 degrees of banking, 8 degrees of banking on the straights, and we are here for the American Sim Racing Series, the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series race here today, and this is going to be a good one. The race is called the Eldora Derby Night. It's 100 laps. Tell me a little bit about what Eldora is all about here.
Well, it is the only dirt race that we go to here in the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series this season. And, racing on dirt is quite a bit different than racing on asphalt. You have to really swing your trucks into the corners. These trucks do not race like your typical dirt race car either because they're so heavy. They really lumber their way around this racetrack. There are no slouches getting up, about 70 miles an hour in the middle of the corner, just about breaking 100 miles an hour down the backstretch here as we watch Jared Haggerty and Jason Stewart go at it. And you can also see different lines in play here tonight due to the fact that Eldora is variably banked. Typically you see a lot of trucks try and use that high line, especially with all the weight that they have. You would see sprint cars perhaps maybe a little bit lower on the racetrack, but with the added weight that these trucks have on them, I expect to see them using that high line. You can already see here in practice that high line is really worked in by these trucks, but you'll see the track develop as the night continues to go on, but we will reset the track for qualifying and the race.
They do call it the Eldora, the famed Eldora Highline, as we see on screen. One truck on its side, practically on its roof there after riding the fence. But you will see drivers up there riding a Highline. It is called the famed Eldora Highline. This track currently hosts the Kings Royal, the World 100, and the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series Eldora Derby. And of course here tonight, the American Sim Racing Series, the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series Eldora Derby. Also, let's go ahead. We talked a little bit about the racetrack and its history. Let's go ahead and discuss the point standings for the Truck Series. Jared Mogart on top of the board with 4 wins so far this season. He has 505 points. Will Worsler second in points, 79 points back, as you see on screen right there. Mitchell Brown's third. Fourth place, Evan Black. Joseph Sawville's fifth. He gained a spot in the point standings. Jason Stewart, Peter mentioned him. He gained +2 in the standings. Jim Foose back in the top 10 after, actually he was already in the top 10, but he still gained 3 spots in the standings. He's 7th. Devin Serra in 8th. 9th, Richard Stallings. And rounding out that top 10, Kelsey Rogers. So this was so that's a pretty good, pretty tight top 10 with the exception of Jared Mogart, who has such a significant gap over everybody else, especially second place, Will Worsler.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one driver we will not see in tonight's race, that is driver of the number 00, Jared Mogart. So Will Worsler will have the opportunity here to make up quite a bit of points on the points leader, both on the Truck Series side and also for the Esports Association Premier Series as well. The overall Premier point standings, which I believe we have.
Do we have that? Yes, we do. We have the Premier, as Peter was talking about. As you see on screen, Jared Mogart leads that. He's got 7 wins on the season. Will Worsler, second. Evan Black is in third. Mitchell Brown, Joseph Sawville rounding out the top 5. Jim Foose, 6th. Jason Stewart, big gainer in the Premier side of things, is in 7th. Kelsey Rogers, 8th. Alan Young, 9th, and rounding that top 10 is Tim Knott. Not one person lost a spot in the top 10 in the Premier standings, so that's pretty impressive. Corey Silva, though, however, lost 10 spots. He was 3rd, but now he's currently 13th. Speaking of Corey Silva, I do believe he has 2 more races until he has to kind of hang it up for a little while, but although he's expecting to have a good night here tonight.
Yeah, and he's pretty darn fast here in practice, currently sitting second on the leaderboard right behind his teammate Evan Black. Will Worcester sits third. We mentioned him trying to make up points on the points leader, Jared Mogard, here tonight. Jason Stewart was just behind him in practice. Brad Krause was the fifth car in practice on the time chart. So definitely interesting to see a couple of these drivers here tonight. Drivers like Brad Krause, great showing in practice, but you got to think who was able to get the lap time in when the track was the fastest, because the track does deteriorate.
It definitely will, and it's going to deteriorate fast. I mean, some people on iRacing think when it deteriorates fast when it's just if you're just out there testing by yourself. That's true, but it's going to deteriorate really quick once you get multiple trucks on the racetrack and forming different lines, such as here tonight for sure. Right now it's at a low 25%, so the track is cleaned up just a little bit. But as we have on the screen here, I'm trying to get my all my information all set up here. But you know, right now you'll see that high line just come in. I see actually some drivers are already operating that high line to get the good run off. But when the race starts, it's going to get they're going to clean up the track again to a 10% usage. So it has a little tiny usage, but there will be some fresher dirt, fresher grip, and as the night goes on, it'll get a little slick, and that's going to force you to change up your line. So that's one thing to keep an eye on here at Eldora for sure.
And everyone doing a fantastic job here in qualifying. We've mentioned it a couple times this season here in the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series, but if you just scrape that wall, iRacing will disqualify your lap, and it's the fastest way around the racetrack, right up by the wall. And a lot of drivers are missing it, and they're actually getting lap time in, which is good to see. I know earlier this year I ran a race at Eldora. I didn't get my qualifying lap in because I scraped the wall, and I had to start from the rear. So everyone doing a good job here in qualifying. Of course, just as I say that, driver number 83, Travis Rucker, smacks the wall on entry into turn number 1.
Everybody a lot of guys using that high line. I'm seeing Jim Foose right now really operating the middle line of the racetrack. Curious on how this is going to pay out. Fastest guy on track right now is Will Worsler with a 18.873. Jim Foose just ran a 19.570, 22nd fastest. Top 5 right now, Will Worsler, Brad Cross, Kelsey Rogers, Brian Kreutz, and Jordan Harnish. The top 5 currently right now. Majority of the field of the drivers does have a qualification time in, and I do believe every single driver that's in this session here tonight is going to start the race, and that's about 35 drivers.
I do want to make a mention that J.R. Bash, driving the number 4 machine, he has yet to make a start this season, currently sitting 7th here in qualifying, at least in the Premier Series, so pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, he got close to the wall. Second place.
Yeah, that'd be... Yeah, Evan Black, we just saw that there. Good run for Evan Black here in qualifying. There's the number 17, Richard Stallings. He's sitting down there in the 11th position. I think he's completed his laps. I think he's just out there trying to get more practice. And in fact, I'm seeing a lot of drivers out there right now on the racetrack trying to get more practice laps in as this qualifying session does wind down. It is a 10-minute qualifying session, of course, with the lap times being oh so short. There's really not much time you get to spend actually qualifying, but there is J.R. Bash, just lightly bashing the wall there in the middle of 3 and 4. Riding on board now, getting that wall once again, riding that wall all the way through the corner. We're going to see that a lot tonight.
That'll disallow the qualifying time for sure. Sometimes hitting the wall here outdoor can actually save you from a disaster, but I don't know how many more times you can beat down the truck into that wall before all of a sudden you get too much damage for you to compete.
Yeah, we saw back in the day the first ever Mud Summer Classic that Kyle Larson partook in. He absolutely destroyed the right side of his car after nailing that wall many times. So these drivers are going to be mindful of that here tonight. It's definitely the fastest way around the racetrack, right up there near the wall. You are going to scrape the wall. It's just going to happen. But keeping that truck as clean as possible could be paramount toward the end of the race.
Most definitely. We're going to have about less than 5 minutes, actually less than 3 minutes of qualifying here pretty soon. Will Warsler still currently on top of the board. And just seeing if anybody else, Tim Knott on the board, on the track.
One driver to keep an eye on here tonight will be Brad Cross in the number 30 machine. He's currently third on the leaderboard. And Brad was the runner-up to Jared Mogard in this race last year. Of course, Mogard, like I've mentioned, he's not starting here tonight, so Brad is going to look to try and finish one spot better than he did last year in this race. Jeremy Banning came home third, Mitch Brown fourth, Jordan Harnish came home fifth in what was a pretty amazing race last year. Brad Cross led 88 of the 100 laps, but it was Mogart that got to go to victory lane. So I'm sure Brad Cross kind of probably circled this one at the beginning of this season to try and see if he can get a little bit of revenge from that one last year.
I think Evan Black's going to be a hard one to compete with too here, Peter, man. If Brad Cross is going to start third, he's going to have to try to get by Evan Black and both Will Warsler, who are on top of the board. Now, practice times when drivers were around the track, Evan Black was the fastest truck on the speedway with an 18.6, and he was the only driver to hit an 18.6, and he is now he's second on the top of the board, or second on top with 18.8. So Evan Black was really practicing the lines in the practice session. Brad Cross that you spoke of was actually fifth in practice. So both of these guys have good trucks here tonight and are fully capable to try to win this race. It's going to be 100 laps. If you're deep in the field in the starting order, it may be pretty difficult to try to climb through the field, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, it's not impossible, and the one thing that you have kind of going against you if you start near the back, though, is just the fact that no one's going to be making any pit stops here tonight. There's no reason to come down and get any pit stops, so you can't really use much strategy. You just got to stay out of trouble. When things happen here at Eldora, they happen really fast because the fact that you're on dirt just means you can't stop very easily, and these trucks also tend to have a lot of rear brake bias in them on such a short track like this. So when you get on the binders, if something happens in front of you, your truck tends to want to spin out. And if it does spin out, all of a sudden you can be parked sideways just waiting to get clobbered by another driver. So, if you start near the back, you really have to watch out for what's happening in front of you. I mean, I know in a race I did earlier this year here, you have to be very patient, and you almost just have to be too patient if things happen in front of you, and it can definitely put you in a bind if you start near the back.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it could probably put you in more of a disaster position back there, but at the same time, too, you can hang back a little bit, but you're kind of in danger if it remains green or going a lap down. Not sure if this series has turned on Lucky Dogs or not. I know some series have it, some series don't. But, I mean, if that's the case, then that's a cool thing to have. But we have, a little under 2 minutes to go until qualifying is over with. A lot of guys riding the same lap times. A lot of guys in the 19s. Anywhere from, I see from ninth place, actually, let's look at this here. 7th place has a 19.029 all the way to 28th with 19.7. That's actually pretty close lap times.
Yeah,
wow.
So, I mean, it's definitely going to be a pretty close race here tonight, which is going to be pretty awesome to see. It is 100 laps, like we mentioned, which if it stays green, will only be about half an hour in length, but there will undoubtedly be some yellow, I'm sure, at some point tonight. I mean, maybe they can go caution-free. It is a possibility. However, my knowledge of dirt racing is that never happens. But it definitely is going to be something that a lot of these drivers are not exactly used to. Even if you have a lot of dirt racing experience here in the iRacing server, you don't often race on dirt with the trucks because they're just not dirt race cars, and we see a couple drivers here tonight who have definitely got iRacing dirt experience, but going back to it, these trucks are so heavy, they're just a different beast, and that's why we see so many of these drivers trying to use qualifying as much to their advantage to see if they can get that practice on the racetrack.
and you talk about this track that I don't think it's going to go. I don't think it's going to go caution free either. As much as I would like it, maybe possibly. But is there any kind of strategy since you don't have to pit? You can't take tires in these trucks here on iRacing, or actually any kind of tires in the sim racing world on iRacing here in dirt racing. So what's a strategy to try to keep this thing up towards the front?
Man, if you're up near the front, you are going to have to get some good restarts. Really, that's when the whole field is jumbled up. That's when you're going to want to make your moves. And if you can stay on the high side, that's where you're going to want to be on the restart.
Let's get this thing kicked off right. Around the racetrack, usually when they grid and they start getting ready to go, you're going to see the fireworks and the pyros all get shooting up in the air before the start of this thing. So let's quickly go through the grid before they go around. I'm sure our director might capture all the pyrotechnics and the fireworks. Will Worsler on the pole. Congratulations to him. Evan Black in second. Brad Cross third. Jason Stewart fourth. And fifth, Kelsey Rogers. Alexander Pelk is in sixth. Brandon Crude seventh. Jordan Harnish in eighth. Ninth place, Jack Wells. And J.R. Bash is rounding off the top 10.
Jeremy Manning and Jonathan Holstein on row number 6. Richard Stallings, Doug Mullins round out 13th and 14th. 15th goes to the 51 of Mitch Brown, while Tim Knott starts at his outside in the 16th position. Chris Titus will start from the 17th position. Jim Foose, league organizer, in the 18th position. We saw him run in that middle groove not too long ago. Troy Haight starts from the 19th position, and Alan Young rounds out your top 20.
21st, Andy Veltman, Jimmy McKee, 22nd, Brad Dyer in the 23rd position, Sam Maxwell, 24th, Jared Haggerty, 25th, Alex Giese, 26th, Travis Rucker, 27th, last driver taking qualifying time, Everett Bray in 28th, Josh Walker, 29th, Corey Silva, 30th, deep in the field for Corey. Steve Bahula in 31st, and Tyler Sawbill rounds out the 32nd driver in tonight's event. 32 drivers are here to start the event for the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series Eldora Derby. Track information, 100 laps tonight. If you do have to go down pit road to repair any damage, it's 30 miles an hour on pit road. Pace truck speed, 40 miles an hour. These drivers are going to take 2 pace laps around this joint here at Eldora Speedway. And just like in real life, the virtual fans are ready to go. They were at in my opinion, the cheap concession stands, getting their alcohol beverage, whatever you want, and hopefully you did too, to sit down, kick back, relax, and enjoy this one, folks, because this is the Truck Series on dirt. NASCAR Gander Outdoors, that scan from real life on dirt like you would see in real life. And tonight, here at the virtual Eldora Speedway, it is the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series on dirt. We're going to go green next time by.
Things are going to happen thick and fast here. I mean, there's going to be action all over this racetrack. It's going to be a spectacle to watch.
Action all over the racetrack here tonight. So bear with us if we accidentally miss something, because it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be all over the place. But it's going to be Will Worsler taking these guys down to the green flag. That pace truck's going to make a hard left into the infield area of the pits. The lights are turned on. It is hot outside, and we are ready to go. Here we go, and the green flag flies, and we are racing the Eldora Derby here at the Eldora Speedway. Down in turn number 1, side by side, Will Worsler trying to operate the high line. Here comes Evan Black. He's operating that Eldora famed high line, and he wants to try to take the race lead. Who's going to get to the line first? Will Worsler on the bottom dove it in there, and he does a slide job. He tries getting right in front of Evan Black, and he will take the first lap.
Yeah, that was a textbook slide job by Will Worsler there in turns number 3 and 4 to get that lead back. I thought he might lose it to Evan Black on that high side, but he said, no, thank you. And here comes Brad Cross on the inside, really tight with Evan Black as they go through turns number 3 and 4. That number 30 machine trying to get rotated. Look at everyone all of a sudden start to fishtail coming off the corner. Worsler already banging the outside wall. Hard hit with the outside wall. That's going to open the door for the number 92 to the inside.
First mistake of the night. You'd never want to hit the wall because it's going to cost you something, and in Will Worsler's case, it cost him the race lead as Evan Black comes across the stripes. He'll lead a lap as there's a lot of guys 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th positions are all on the high line. There's some guys operating the bottom, but they cannot get the run on corner exit. Look at Will Wurzler diving to the bottom side of the racetrack on Evan Black. He does a slide job. Evan Black catches it, and he's going to try to do the crossover move, and he still has the race lead.
And Evan Black still hold the point, like you said, doing a good job up at the front. We're going to have to watch some comers and goes in this. Josh Walker, he's already gone from 29th to 19th. The number 29 took a huge slide job in turn number 3 and 4, but Evan Black cuts underneath him and retains the race lead. Here comes Brad Cross. They're side by side now for the 2nd position. Cross on the inside, Wurzler on the outside. And Wurzler's going to hold on to that 2nd position at least for now, but Wurzler is trying to get back up to the front. He's trying to close in on that number 92 after smacking the wall. He smacks the wall once again coming out of turn number 4. Lots of right side damage on that number 29, but it's not slowing him down. The first side-by-side battle is back for the 6th position between Kelsey Rogers and the 32 of Harnish. Harnish is going to move up to the 6th position, getting to the outside of Kelsey Rogers. And now Kelsey Rogers is stuck on the inside, almost like the sucker hole. He's going to drop another spot to the 17 of Stallings.
Kelsey Rogers being absolutely desperate, trying to get to that spot right in front of the number 44 of Alexander Pelican. Here comes Jack Wells on the bottom side of the racetrack. Richard Stallings is going to try the inside here to see if it's going to work. So we do have some drivers out there right now that's going to try to operate the bottom side of the racetrack, but it doesn't seem like it is working out for Jack Wells or Richard Stallings. They do find a spot back in line on the speedway right now as the number 4 in the 11th position is trying to bottom line on Jack Wells, but it did not work. And we got a battle for the top spot once again, and it's Evan Black and Will Wurzler. Does not happen off of turn number 4. Evan Black still has a top spot. Brad Cross close to that back bumper, but he does not want to dip out right now. He's actually playing the patience game all over Wurzler's back bumper.
Everyone, we want to apologize for the technical difficulties. Carlos Costa, our production truck, is trying to get back into the server after falling out. So we got some radio-style commentary for you here as we have our first caution of the night. Not sure where. Looks like everything has been sorted out. But we do have a yellow flag out there. Not seeing anyone who has gone around or anything. So looks like maybe someone got it righted, but not quick enough for the caution flag to fly. But my oh my, that was a super exciting start to this race. Already working lap number 12 here behind the pace truck for the first time tonight. Evan Black, your race leader.
Well, I'm currently still searching for the cause of the caution flag here, Peter. That's going on. No drivers can come down pit road to make a pit stop, obviously, right now. But if I did not see anybody spin out, but if it was for somebody spinning out, it was Doug Mullins getting the EOL for this. So I'm going to have to look back at the see of what happened to Doug Mullins in the number 18 machine, the Perky Pines Toyota, to see what brought out this caution flag. Actually, there was an accident. It was Doug Mullins coming off turn number 4. Him and the number 4 truck that's JR Bash. For the 11th and 12th position, the 18 got spun around. He actually hit the left rear of the Ford truck, and it just spun the 18 right around, and that brings out our first caution of the evening.
Yeah, Mullins did a good job, though, of just doing a 360, getting that truck going. He did lose a couple spots, which is going to be, tough. But it's still pretty early in the race. It's still plenty of time for that number 18 to work his way back up through the field.
Biggest movers of the race so far, Josh Walker, 29th, 17th. Jared Haggerty, 25th to 19th. Corey Silva, 30th to 20th. So we have guys who have, I don't know if they have dirt experience, but they are certainly competitors in this series. Coming from the back of the pack towards the front, it's just taking them a little extra while longer. Coming to the green flag right now, pace truck's going to be dipping down into turn number 4 here, and it's going to be Evan Black, the race leader, as he's already on the power. He's going to take the green flag back here at Eldora Speedway.
Yeah, I was going to see if Will Wurzler on that high line would be able to do anything, but he wasn't able to do anything yet. But Brad Cross actually followed that number 92 up to the front, so move Brad Cross up into second. 32,
Jordan Harsh got into the wall. He kept it towards the wall. Everybody trying to avoid him off of turn number 4 here, trying to get around him. The battle for the top spot is not yet producing just yet between Cross or Black. First side-by-side battles between the 32 of Jordan Harnish and Richard Stalling for 6th and 7th positions.
Yeah, and look at Stallings in that number 17 machine. He's going to cut up right in front of Kelsey Rogers. Those two were side by side not too long ago, with Kelsey Rogers losing out. But now Kelsey's trying to see if he can gain positions. But now the first side by side is just a little bit behind them, as it looks like Alexander Pelican and Jack Wells. But we do have a battle for the race lead. Here comes Brad Cross and then number 30 machine to the outside of Evan Black. Black's going to use the slide job here. Brad Cross is going to use the over-under. They're still side by side halfway down the backstretch.
Ooh boy, getting intense for that top spot between, caution is out on the speedway.
Yeah, that will give the race lead to Brad Cross. Looks like Corey Silva in the number 94 machine has gone around on the backstretch. We'll go back and see if we can catch a replay of this. Of course, there are quickie yellows here at Eldora, which is quite nice. So a little bit of contact right in front of him. And looks like the 28 of Troy Haight was going around, and looks like Silva pretty much had nowhere to go. That is one thing that happens pretty quickly here, quick and fast around this racetrack. See if we can go on board. Here we go, on board with Corey Silva. You can see the 28 was very sideways, and Silva got in the gas just a little bit too soon, and unfortunately caught the rear of Troy Haight's number 28 machine. But that's the type of wreck that you'll see here on a dirt track quite a bit, especially with these trucks with all that horsepower underneath them. But all of a sudden, pace car lights are they're on still, but I think we'll probably be getting the one to go this time.
We should get the one to go. Yeah, we do have the. Nope, not yeah. We should get the one to go this time because I see everybody double file up. So, and these drivers do get a message indicator that that if it's 2 to go or not. And you can already see down in here turns 1 and 2, Peter, that high line already getting used up, and we're only 20 laps into this event.
Yeah, I was actually going to make that comment there under that last run. You're exactly right. You can definitely see that high line, that black groove up there. It's going to get pretty slick on entry, but you'll see these drivers, that's still the preferred line. They're still going to want to be up there keeping their momentum up.
Here we go. Brad Cross gets a huge jump right there, and he's going to try to search for a high line. Now look at Evan Black and other drivers searching for that bottom side. Is that high line still going to be the way to go, or is it going to have to be changed up? So far, Cross says it's still the high line. Will Worsler's the first car on the inside line, and then it's the number 93 of Brandon Kreutz. So Kreutz falls back to the outside line, but almost 3 wide action between the 35 machine, Kelsey Rogers back there, Alexander Pelican and Jack Wells. That got sorted out in a quick hurry as they came off of turn number 2. Will Worsler, pole sitter, still operating at a higher line, and he's actually losing ground. Oh, he got bumped in the right rear quarter panel by the number 93 of Brandon Kreutz. That's not good, and they make contact again. They're still making contact. Here we go. Accident down turn 1 and 2. Many trucks getting involved in this incident.
Yeah, a lot of trucks. Josh Walker, one of those trucks, he's going to have engine damage. That'll spell the end of the night for Josh Walker. But that was definitely 2 trucks just going for the same spot on the track. And the number 29 just all of a sudden didn't look like he pitched a truck as much as he needed to. And it was a lot of trucks getting piled into that. That goes back to what I was talking about earlier. You see the 31 there. He tried to slow down, just couldn't get that truck load up in time. So it happens in front of you. You try and slow down. You just don't have much opportunity to do so. And that's what happens.
Oh yeah, a lot of. I mean, I was trying to look through that accident right there. I don't see one driver who started in the back of the pack that did not get damage from that, because it looked like everybody just kind of piled in and got some sort of damage.
Yeah, there was a lot of drivers getting damage on that one. I know one driver though who did not want to have that happen. Will Worsler in that number 29 machine. We mentioned it at the top of the show. He was looking for a good night tonight to see if he could close in on the 0-0 of Jared Mogard in points, but he has a ton of damage on that number 29 machine. And of course, you know, he started up there at the front, and now he's going to be mired back in the pack. In fact, he's on pit road right now getting as much damage repaired as possible. But pace car lights are off. We're going to get set to go back to green. You see the field doubling up Brad Cross, your race leader. Number 92, Evan Black second. Then Jason Stewart, Richard Stallings, and Kelsey Rogers rounding out your top 5. Now let's keep an eye on Richard Stallings. He started in the 13th position, already up to 4th here, just over the quarter race distance. So plus 9 spots for Stallings. We'll see if he can get any more spots, but the green flag is back in the air here. Cross gets another fantastic restart, goes straight up to the top right in front of Evan Black in the number 92. Black gets a good drive through the center of turn number 1 and 2. Yep, we're 3 right behind them. Stallings in the middle, trying to get underneath Jason Stewart, unable to do so just yet. Look at Brandon Kreutz in the number 93, contact there. Jason Stewart had to check up for the slide job, and that will move Kreutz all the way up into 3rd. The 17 is sideways. He's around.
Here we go again.
In the air.
Here we go again. Everybody piling in down turn 1 and 2. And that's just aggressive racing right there. Drivers just, whoever starts on the inside road, just trying to get to the outside road as much as they can without losing track position. You'll see it on replay right here. Yeah, oh, too much of a slide for Richard Stallings. Just gets turned around by Jason Stewart. Very unfortunate, and everybody starts piling in.
Yeah, and
Holy
you know
smokes.
what? That is down to that top line starting to get super slick on entry.
Yes.
You know, we can see that high line now is completely changed, and it's really, really treacherous on entry. And oof, got into the back of Haggerty there. Oof, in the inside wall as well. But that, you know, it's just going to get worse from here on out. It's just going to get more slick, as we rode on board there with Jonathan Holstein. But for the number 30 at Brad Cross, he's got that clean air up at the front. It's not that clean. It's pretty dusty around here, but nonetheless,
Man,
he is the race leader.
Peter, I got a question since we're under caution here. That high line, I mean, it's going to get slicker and slicker and slicker as this night goes on, and probably for the rest of the night. Are you forced to change up that high line if you're any of the race leaders or anybody else for that matter?
Well, if you're the race leader, I mean, it's still going to be the fastest way around the racetrack, especially if you can find that berm up there. It just tends to be fastest. It's really difficult to pass on the inside line. The only time is when your leader starts to get a little bit sideways. You might be able to make a move up there, but only time, a move on the bottom, I should say. But only time will tell whether or not we start to see drivers use that inside line.
Alexander Pelican was waved around the pace car as a free pass, I believe. But we're still going to go green flag racing. Here we go. Brad Cross right on the low pedal again. We're back green flag racing at the Eldora Speedway. Down in turns 1 and 2. Evan Black still high at the highlight. Man, Kreutz almost made contact with Black coming off the exit of the corner there. The 56 machine, Brad Dyer, coming from 23rd position. 2 cars into the outside wall. Oh, we're stacking up. Yep, we're definitely stacking up. Caution.
Yeah, that was a hard hit for Chris Titus, Kelsey Rogers, and Travis Rucker. Rucker had nowhere to go. It was the 35 stuck up there with the 04 in the outside wall. They made contact down the back stretch, and they just kind of came glued together, and Travis Rucker came in there. You can see that engine smoking. Looks like maybe Kelsey Rogers might be able to drive away with it. Not 100% sure.
No, he's not. He took a tow.
Oh, then that's a night over for all 3 of those trucks. So you're riding on board here with Travis Rucker, and yeah, I think probably if you went on board with that number 83 truck, you probably wouldn't be able to see very much from the driver's spot, so he probably just didn't see it happen in front of him, and it was too late. Riding on board with Will Worsler here, you see a smoking truck down there on the inside. Already, and that was before the wreck even happened, and got into the side of Jonathan Holstein there, just kind of bounced off that side of that race truck, and Will Worsler able to get a few more spots out of it. However, gonna try and go back and see who that other truck was that was already smoking on pit road. Pace car lights are already off. We're getting set to go back to green flag here. I think it was Corey Silva whose truck blew up, which is gonna be a tough break for him.
He was starting to back in a pack, and there was carnage all over the place. Very unfortunate for Corey Silva. Pace Truck's lights are out. We have Brad Cross as the race leader right now. Evan Black second. Ryan Kreutz third. Jason Stewart fourth, and running on the top five. Brad Dyer coming from 23rd position. Pace truck is in, and we're back green flag racing again. Brad Cross looks like he may have gotten a little loose on this start, but it's no affection to him. He's on the high line. He wants to get that good run off. 3 ride for second spot. Kreutz makes contact with Evan Black this time around, but no harm, no foul. Other cars hitting the wall on into turn number 3. Here comes Brad Cross to lead another lap. Then we got Evan Black, Brandon Kreutz, Jason Stewart, Brad Dyer, the top 5. The 56, Brad Dyer, is still operating that low line, and he's hanging on pretty dang good with Jason Stewart for the 4th position. Right now, it's just a matter of trying to get around him. I don't think he's going to get around this time around.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see those trucks up there on that high line just get completely sideways up as soon as they hit the gas. And I think that is really helping that number 56 down there on the inside line. He's trying to find that groove. He's trying to make it work down there. If he can run down there, he might be able to work in that groove just a little bit. It's going to be a little bit tricky with just himself running that line, but if some of the other trucks can run down there with him, that lower line will just start to come in a little bit more.
Well, one of those drivers that's trying out that bottom inside is the number 4 machine back there in the 9th position, JR Bash. He's one of the few drivers, other than Richard Stallings as well, deep in the field, that's trying that low inside line. Oh, Stewart hit the outside wall. That's going to be the benefit to Brad Dyer. That's going to cost Jason Stewart 2 spots on the speedway. Here comes the 51 machine of Mitch Brown for a position on the speedway.
Oh, contact! Mitch Brown's around!
Oh, more contact!
Oh, Doug Mullins also around. Caution is out, and it all happened. The 51 got sent around, and Doug Mullins had to react.
Oh,
look at the contact back there with the 48 as well, of Alexander Pelican, but you're right on board with Mullins here. And, looks like Jason Stewart and the 1 machine got into the 51, and that was just enough to turn that 51 around. And unfortunately for Mullins, he had nowhere to go down there near the inside wall.
Oh, man, that was a pretty good lick between the 51 and the 18. If those two wouldn't have made contact, I think the 51 and the 18 would have been okay. But that was the biggest impact right there between the 51 and the 18 after the spin out by Stewart. Oh, there was some contact afterwards trying to get into the corner between Mullins and Alexander Pelican.
Do want to note that one driver who looks like he'll be getting the waiver round, indeed he is driver of the number 29. That's Will Worsler. Remember, he was involved in an accident not too long ago, and that number 29 machine, he's come down pit road to get some damage repaired a couple times, and we'll see him get waved around here. He'll go past the pace car. He started to gas her up, but he'll be back on the lead lap. Currently, he was the only truck 1 lap down. Alex Giese currently sits in 25th, 2 laps down. Giese, the only other truck not on the lead lap who is still running. But the pace car lights, looks like they're still on at least for now. No, excuse me.
Turned off.
They are turned off, so we'll go green flag racing once again, this time by nearing the halfway distance already here in the Dirt Derby.
Brad Cross, your race leader. Can anybody challenge him? The only one I can really see that's been able to compete with Brad is the 92 of Evan Black. We'll find out right here as they come off turn number 4. Pace truck is in. Cross is already on the lob pedal as we're back green flag racing here at the Eldora Speedway. Evan Black is going to try it on the inside line. Let's see how this will work out for Black. I don't think it's going to work out too much for him. No, it's not. So he's got to settle into the high side as they head down into turn number 3. The first side-by-side battle is between the 56 and the 93. That is going to be Kreutz and Dyer for the 3rd position right now. Dyer still on the bottom. He still wants that bottom side and still cannot have that run momentum off of the corner of the racetrack. And there's more battling in the field. Oh, contact between the 6 machine and the 15 of Jeremy Banning, I believe.
There's a hornet's nest right there.
Man.
Number 17 slides up. Only the 18 and the 4 looks like they might have banged doors down the front stretch. And there's Troy Haight in the 28 machine. All the 6s around.
6 is
Caution.
around backwards, and 41's around. Tim Knott enters still, reckon.
Jack Will is back there in the 06, so the 06 and the 6 got collected. Bad time to have 6 in your number. Go back and see this on the replay. This is the spot where we said that was a hornet's nest. A little bit of contact there between Harnish and the 6 of Haggerty. And Tim Knott, I think he just tried to lock up the brakes to avoid running into the 6 machine. And unfortunately spun that machine right around and goes, as we watch this all occur from the blimp cam, watch turn number 2. There's the initial contact, car around, and everyone else kind of trying to avoid it. The rest of the field did a good job avoiding it. I know Tim Knott, he had to slam on his brakes there, but a whole bunch of trucks had to scatter to avoid the spun around number 6. So good to see that a lot of drivers kind of have heads up there coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, and we are now getting our halfway as soon as the race leaders come around, as Jordan Harnish was receiving an EOL penalty. Alex Giese going around the pace truck for his wave around. We are now officially halfway till the end here, and these live drivers are trying to fight for position, and sometimes they get into with each other. 1 to green right now. Brad Cross, Evan Black, Brian Kreutz, Brad Dyer, Jason Stewart, the top 5.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Brad Dyer now, he's going to start up there on the top. We've seen him down there on the inside line, but now that he's going to be up there on the high line, which is the line that the leaders prefer, it'll be interesting to see if he can make a move on Brandon Kreutz here on this restart. As the pace car lights are off, we're waiting on the loud pedal of cross. Looks like Black might have jumped that restart just a little bit. He's going to hang right with the number 30 as they head off into turn number 1. Look at Brandon Kreutz on the inside line. Kreutz is going to wash up and put a 92 in the wall. Contact there. Now we're 3 wide down the backstretch. Dyer in the middle. Dyer has to back out of it. They're still ping-ponging off one another. Look at this. Now Mitch Brown and Brad Dyer. Dyer, this has been a terrible restart for him. Just as I said,
man,
for him on the restart.
Back here, 3 wide.
And Dyer's going to settle down all the way back in around the 10th position. They're still fighting for positions here on this restart.
Oh, I tell you what, that is 3 times in this race. I can count for a fact that the 92 and the 93 have made contact with each other. And right now, I don't know how Evan... 28, big wreck. 28's going around. Troy Haight, caution.
Yeah, luckily for Haight, that was no worse than it was. Looks like he just got turned around, made some slight contact with the inside wall. We'll go back and watch this one on the replay. Heading out of turn number 4. And, just got into the side of Alexander Pelican. Jim Foose had to check up a little bit. Yeah, Foose had to check up there. And really, Foose did a good job of not exacerbating the situation by checking up there.
Well, Jim Foose didn't have anywhere to go. So, I mean, he was already... It just happened just like that. Like right here. Wow, he's just sideways and Jim Foose is right there. Nowhere for Jim Foose to go. He was 3 wide the way it was.
Yeah, Foose definitely getting a little bit of front-end damage to that Menards Toyota Tundra. As you go back and watch this one here. Let's run on board with Jim Foose here. Just see this all unfold right in front of it. There's the contact, and boom. Yeah, nowhere to go, and you really have to have some crazy reaction time or foresight to see that kind of evolve right out your front. And Jim just getting a piece of that, unfortunately. But we'll see the pace car lights go off here in just about a lap. 43 laps to go once we go back to green flag racing, which will be good to see. And also good to see this caution if you're Alex Giese. Giese now back on the lead lap in that number 77 Chevy Silverado. So Giese's just trying to pick up all these spots where he can, but now he's on the lead lap. Now he can actually pass some trucks to gain some spots. So keep an eye on Giese.
Keep an eye on a lot of these guys. Some guys coming from the back of the pack up towards the front. Brad Dyer's one of them. I know Sam Maxwell's another. And also, looking through the field here, Jimmy McKee's another one. Here comes Brad Cross getting on the loud pedal again. Now, this is going to be interesting. Watch at 93 and 92. Those 2 guys have made contact like at least 3 times in this race so far. And I don't know if they're teammates, but I don't think today is the day to make friends.
Yeah, those two primetime racing drivers racing each other pretty hard, and now Corey Silva's going to get better at the 93 contact! And the number 17 of Richard Stallings has gone around, caution back in the air, and Kreutz and the 17 there got together. I wasn't quite sure, maybe Kreutz got a little bit sideways there to try and stay off the back of his teammate, and I think Stallings kind of had nowhere to go here. Yeah, that number 93 had a little bit too much throttle, I think, and that truck was just not gripping up, and Stallings got the gas down a little bit better and just unfortunately made contact with that number 93, sent him around. That's going to lose a ton of track position for him.
I don't know. A lot of contact between teammates here today, and who knows, maybe after this race there'll be a team meeting.
Well, this is one of the few races out there where you either come home with the checkered flag or the steering wheel. You know, you already see a lot of trucks out there with a lot of damage, but they are all running pretty good. You know, that's one thing about this racetrack is because you're sideways and it's not a super fast track. It's definitely not a narrow track by any means. You can race out there with a banged up truck, still be very, very, very competitive, as we see a lot of the trucks up there near the front. In fact, I'm going to look through the field this time by and see if I can see any truck that I would consider quote-unquote clean, or at least somewhat clean, here with 40 laps to go. I wouldn't be surprised if every single truck has a good chunk of damage at this point.
Well, so far I mean, realistically, it is tough on dirt for sure, and that's just kind of what you have to expect when you come to a dirt track. Is I mean, if I was out there, I can't rely on teammates. Teammates are not going to help me get a good finish out of this. I mean, maybe if he was a lap down and all that, and he decided to give me the track room, yes, but it's not like Daytona and Talladega to where you can have actually someone help you. Quote that. But we're back green flag racing here. Brad Cross on the loud pedal, and you got Evan Black in second, Jason Stewart, Ryan Kreutz. Both of them, the Kreutz and Black are teammates, still knocking into each other just a little bit. Coming out turn number 2, not too much. Jason Stewart operating that lower line, does not prevail. He's going to have to suck right back in the line if he can behind Kreutz, and he more than likely will. Yes, he does. Well, the top 4 drivers are single file. There's the number 15 to 56. Dyer and Banning battling for 5th and 6th right now. Closely behind is Doug Mullins and Mitch Brown.
Yeah, we saw Brad Dyer. He was up in the 4th position not too long ago, and he's using a little bit different line as we see this action near the back-to-back. Andy Veltman in the 97's gone around. Jonathan Holstein also getting a piece of it. That number 73 hard in the inside wall. But definitely looked like that started with the number 97. There were 3 or 4 wide there as we go back and see this on the 3 wide TV replay. There's the number 97 in the middle of 3 wide, washed up into that number 6 machine, got sideways. And that number 73 got a little bit of air there. And also the number 4 machine of J.R. Bash getting a piece of it back there. Bash has kind of been in the wars today. Riding on board, I think, here with Holstein. You see Holstein looked like he was clear of it and then kind of just got nabbed there at the end, ended up in the inside wall with the rear end, but luckily he's able to drive it away. Get this from another angle. There's Jordan Harnish in the number 32. Watch Harnish avoid this one. He's just gonna kind of go right up around the top. Track cleared right in front of him. Troy Haight did a good job of avoiding that accident. And producer saying that the flagman
Caution, man, caution!
really feverishly waving that yellow flag.
He's like rocking out like to music and that flag saying with a caution flag in hand. That's cool.
He needs to rock out with the green flag in hand.
Cool.
That would be a little bit better. But nonetheless, pace car lights are off. We'll get to see that flagman rock out with the green flag in just about a lap.
All right, 1 lap to go till we go back green flag racing. When we take the green flag, it'll mark 32 laps remaining here at Eldora. Brad Cross is the man to beat.
I was going to say, I just wanted to mention Tyler Seville, the only driver still out there with a clean race truck. I think he's just trying to get out of Eldora with a clean race truck back there in 21st position. But pace car is off. We're back to green flag. There you see that flagman rocking out with the green flag as Brad Cross is going to slide up in front of Evan Black. But here comes 92! Evan Black. Got a great run coming through the center of the corner. He's going to dive now down to the inside. Going to see if he can pull up the slide job. Does so. But Cross is not having anything of it. They're side by side of the line.
Black did beat him to the line, but Black is in the wall. Oh, contact between the leaders. Beating and banging doors. Oh my goodness, tires smoking, sheet metal dragging, and we're still racing for the top spot.
And now Brad Cross is going to do exactly. Oh! Cross around. He's not going to lose a whole bunch of positions. Ooh, they're still making contact.
Ooh, baby. I mean,
oh boy.
Stick around for the fight after the race, folks.
The Dirt Derby just turned into a brawl. Yeah. The Dirt Brawl at Eldora. And Brad Cross, good job of just doing kind of a 360.
He did. That was a good job.
He tried to pull off that slide job on the number 92. Man, they were beating and banging for the whole lap. And he gets up in front of the number 92 and oof, just didn't quite have it cleared. And that's definitely going to put a spanner in his works here. So we'll have to see who gets the all-me call on this one. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if any driver is going to claim it here because it is the number 92 of Black up at the front. Cross doesn't look like he's claimed it. So I think this will be an unclaimed caution. And if you're new to the American Sim Racing Association series, they have a strike system where during the race you have to call out whether you were the root cause of the incident, such that in any form of post-race there might not be a penalty. But nonetheless, I don't think either driver claimed it here. Brad Cross will restart from 7th, and the number 92 of Evan Black will restart your race leader here with 27 laps to go, this time by just about a quarter of the race left here tonight.
Pace truck coming back in the pit road again. Evan Black is on a loud pedal. Let's see if Brad Cross can make up some spots, and also back in 10th position, pole sitter Will Worsler. We're back in Green Flag Racing.
Yeah, now you have those two primetime racing teammates up at the front with the number 92 of Evan Black and the number 93 of Brandon Cruz. Those two drivers will be able to kind of coordinate their restarts together, but that's probably about the only teamwork we'll see here between them. The 92 has scooted away at the front. There's some contact between Will Worsler and Doug Mullins in the number 18 machine. Don't count out that number 9. He has worked his way back up into the top 10 in the 8th position. So Worsler was a lap down earlier in this feature, and now back up into 8th as they're now 3 wide just in front of him. They were there for just a moment, and caution is back in the air. Oh, it's a big wreck on the front stretch. Tim Knott, Jack Wells, Tyler Seville, the only truck that was left without damage, now has a piece of it. And Tim Knott there in the number 41. Let's go back and see if we can determine what happened here. Ooh, he just looks like he got tagged from the number 77, and ooh, got bashed in the rear there. That number 4 truck getting a little bit of airborne. And there you see that number 11 getting into the inside wall right at the very end of it. He just tried to check up. Riding on board with the number 4 machine. Look how much wheel input you have to have in these race trucks to keep them going straight. And oof, man, from that view, you just could not see the number 41 who'd gone around off the nose. It looked like of the 77, perhaps a Geesey. And riding on board now with the 11 truck. Like I said, it was the only truck left undamaged. The 66 of Edward Bray in front of him now, probably the best looking truck out on the racetrack. And he just saw it happen. You can see him get on the brakes and oof. Just didn't have enough grip to get that truck down to the bottom of the racetrack and unfortunately in the wall. Alex Geesey will claim this penalty, or I should say claim this caution. He's been given an end of longest line penalty. So Geesey, who was trying to work his way back up after some early issues, can say that Seville and J.R. Bash have both taken their trucks to the pit lane. Seville's sitting on pit road right now. JR Bash currently back out on the racetrack. They're going to see if they can get a lucky dog here, but we are going to have 21 laps to go here for the green flag.
Pace truck will be coming in, 92, Evan Black, your race leader. Brian Kreutz in second place, both primetime teammates. As we're back, green flag racing once again. Will Warsaw looking already towards the outside in the back of the pack on Jason Stewart. Doesn't happen, but look who's back in that third position. He's coming back, and that's Brad Cross, who fell back as low as 8th place tonight. He's on high line. I'm sure he's going to try to make something happen in these final 20 laps as they come across the stripes right now. First side-by-side battle between the 51 of Mitch Brown and the 56 machine of Brad Dyer. Oh man, cars getting really towards the inside wall, either loose. I've seen multiple. I think the 18 is down towards the inside wall there. A lot of these guys are a little bit out of whack in the mid-pack.
I was going to be really curious of whether or not you could make that real low line work here tonight. It's definitely a line that can work depending on certain situations. I've made it work before. It definitely works well with sprint cars, things that have a lot of high downforce. But Mullen's still running down there. There he is on that now left side of your screen. There he is there just to the inside of the number 29. And look at Will Worcester back up there. Worcester now in the 8th position after he just passed Doug Mullins. Made that pass stick. So that's going to be interesting to see how high Will Worcester can get up to. But here comes Brad Cross. Cross is going to pull up in front of the 93. Little bit of contact. He made that slide job work. That is the dirtiest slide job you'll see all day long. But it is on dirt, so, you know, that's what it's going to have to be.
He tried maybe trying to get him back on him just a little bit. But it actually cost Kreutz a little momentum. But here comes Brad Cross. He's got one car to hunt down, and that's the truck he had made contact with a little earlier here tonight. And well, this is going to be an interesting unfold here. And we got a caution again, and this will bring Cross and Black together.
Yeah, Doug Mullins has gone around on the back stretch in that number 18 machine. That Slice Pizza Bar Pints Toyota Tundra. Go back and see what happened here. There's Jordan Harnish on the outside line. Ooh, it looks like that inside line just did not work out for Mullins there. Got a little bit too much on the gas, and it spun the 18 right around. It's just a pretty tough break. He was trying to make that low line work, was doing a decent job of it, but as you can see, it just got sideways. He just got on the gas a little bit too early, it looked like, and it spun him right around with that amount of weight transfer that truck had in it. It just couldn't quite hang on to it. Does look like we will get a lucky dog, however. Looks like JR Bash and the number 4 machine should get waved around the pace car here as we have 14 laps to go. There is that number 4 machine. Currently running down in the 24th position. JR Bash qualified up near the front earlier on, but this just hasn't been the night he's been looking for. A lead lap finish would be a good result from this present moment in time.
Yeah,
and there
definitely.
he goes. So Bash will get back on the lead lap, but all of the field now lining up double file. Bash is going to have to hurry here because here he is. Oh, and he just blew the motor, and just like that, that lucky dog is not so lucky anymore. So that will...
Oh, that was such a great call to throw the caution flag. I mean, I was thinking they were going to... They should have with the lucky dog.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, that they'd, you know, hopefully throw the yellow with that number 4 machine slow on the inside of the racetrack with that blown motor. He's just going to coast to his pit box. That's not the way he's going to want to finish this one. But nonetheless, your race leader, Evan Black, will lead us to green flag. This time by Brad Cross to the outside. We've seen fireworks out of these two already in this race. It should be a good dash to the end, only 11 lap dash. Evan Black will get us on the or back to green flag, I should say. Great restart for that number 92 machine. He's going to pull clear of Brad Cross, and here comes Brandon Kreutz to the inside. Kreutz and Brad Cross have beaten Bang themselves.
Oh boy.
Cross is going to scoot out just in front of that number 93 machine. He's going to set his eyes on the number 92 of Evan Black here with 10 laps to go this time by.
10 laps remaining. It is going to be a battle on the top spot before we know it pretty soon between Black and Cross. Richard Stallings still trying to fight that bottom side of the racetrack. He's still sideways. There's a spin. It's Kreutz. Kreutz is spinning. Big accident on the back straightaway. Caution flag is out.
Huge accident here on the back stretch. Number 29 of Will Worsler involved. The number 31 of McKee. He looks like he's got a blown motor. That is a huge wreck. Haggerty's got a blown motor. We'll go back and watch this one on the replay, but it was a huge accident, of course, right up the front. Oh man, looks like Worsler just got turned around and a couple of other trucks piling in there. Oh my gosh. Jimmy McKee, I don't know what happened there. He found some vortex and sent him flipping down the backstretch.
Do we have an onboard of 2 trucks?
Yeah, let's see who this is. Oh, this is the 31. Oh, he got caught in the inside wall. Oh, Andy Veltman just drove through that truck, sent him for a ride.
Jim Foose.
Let's see if we can get Jim Foose on board here.
And this is what I'm seeing right here for this kind of a wreck avoidance. Now, there's 2 drivers I would have said, but I think this would be a little more significant. Troy Haight and Jim Foose together. Again, now watch this. Here's Jim Foose. Eventually, he's going to be with the 28 of Troy Haight. Riding that high line. Troy Haight's already up there. Here comes Jim on Troy. They're crashing. They both slow down, and they both avoid it. And Jim gets into the back bumper just a little bit of the 28, but I don't think it's going to be no harm, no foul.
Pace car lights are off. We're going to get set to go back to racing. Now, what about Richard Stallings down the number 17 machine? He's been involved in a few things here tonight, but he's now in the 3rd position.
He's been aggressive tonight on that bottom side, trying to make it work, trying to get every scratch, claw, everything, bite his way up towards the front, trying to do something. And that's Evan Black in on the loud pedal. It is Stallings and Cross down in turn number 1. Look at Stallings go on the bottom side of the racetrack. Can he make it stick? I don't think he can. Here comes Brad Cross. Huge momentum for Brad, even though he hits the wall. And Richard Stallings in the 3rd position. The 56 tries the middle line of the racetrack. That's Brad Dyer.
Yeah. Oh, the 24's around. Worsler in it as well. Caution back in the air. That is the number 24 of Alan Young. Haven't really talked about him here tonight, but unfortunately going around here with just a few laps to go. And you know what? I'm going to say the 3 words that these drivers probably didn't want to hear tonight. Green, white, checker.
Green, white, checkered. What a way for the fans to experience something.
Yeah, and that's just a tough break for the 29 of Will Worsler. He's been getting caught up in things not of his own doing. You see him running right down there on the inside line, and boom, enter stage right, the number 24 of Alan Young. And he went for a little 360. Keeps that truck rolling. Ooh, looks like someone blew a motor just in front of him. Wonder if that was the number 97 of Andy Veltman.
Pace truck lights are still turned on, and we were for sure we'll get a green-white checkered as the Sam Maxwell was waved around the pace car, so we're kind of waiting on Sam to get around the pace car here. Alan Young receiving the EOL penalty at the moment. Evan Black, Brad Cross, Richard Stallings, Brad Dyer, Mitch Brown. I think Evan Black kind of has this in the bag because I have yet to see Brad Cross to even try to attempt to challenge that number 92 machine. I mean, he can't because he keeps battling with the car on the inside coming to the line and in the corner of 1 and 2. So it's going to be an interesting restart on a green-white checker.
And remember, there has been bad blood between these 2 drivers up at the front here already once tonight. And Brad Cross, if he's going to want to come home with the checkered flag here tonight, he is going to have to anticipate this restart better than he has all night long. If he can get alongside the number 92 of Evan Black into turn number 1 with the same amount of momentum, I think Cross can make that pass and get the checkered flag, get the win. But he hasn't been able to do that here tonight, as the pace car will bring them down at 40 miles an hour. The race is in the hands of the number 92 of Evan Black, and Evan Black hard on the loud pedal early just as that pace car heads down the pit road, and Brad Cross isn't going to hang with him here, but he's going to go down to the inside line. They're now side by side for the race lead, at least they were momentarily. Now the number 92 pulls ahead. The 17 is going to pull into the third position. There's single file for the top 3. Once we get to the white flag, that will basically negate any more opportunities for green-white checker. What can Brad Cross do as they head off into turn number 1?
He's got to throw it down in turn 3 and 4 to have any kind of shot at Evan Black, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to try to go to the inside. Can he hang with him? Can he watch on the track? Will they make contact? And it's not enough. Brad Cross too much sideways, but he's going to get to the start-finish line. Will he finish second as Evan Black will take the checkered flag? Brad Cross second, Richard Stallings third, Brad Dyer fourth, Alexander Pelican fifth.
And for Brad Cross, that is the bridesmaids 2 years in a row here. Mitch Brown in that number 51 machine, he rolled across the start-finish line, and that machine is smoking, so not quite sure what happened there. He did unofficially finish in the 6th position, but Mitch Brown, looks like he had a little bit too much horsepower coming out of turn number 4 on the last lap, came across the start-finish line, impaled the inside wall, just trying to get every little bit out of that number 51 machine there right at the end. But nonetheless, that number 92 is going to try and do some donuts here. It's kind of hard to do donuts on dirt, even though you'd think it'd be pretty easy. And he's actually going to get that thing going pretty good. So that number 92, victory lane here tonight.
He will definitely go to victory lane here tonight, and a little harder to do donuts, but he's making work on dirt. Congratulations to Evan Black, and please do not go away because we're going to have a bunch of interviews lined up for you after this. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Eldora Speedway for the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series Eldora Derby, as we just seen a wild, crazy, beating and banging of a race here at Eldora as Evan Black came across the stripes to take the checkered flag. Brad Cross got second place, as we are getting lined up, ready to go right now for interviews. And the first person to interview is Mr. Tim Knott, since we don't have the top three just yet, but we're going to interview 11th place finisher Tim Knott.
Yeah, I'm here with Tim Knott, driver of the number 41 machine, and Tim, it looked like it was kind of a war zone back there, kind of mid-pack, and that's pretty much where you were most of the night, but you were able to come home with an 11th place finish. First, tell us, do you enjoy dirt racing, and tell us a little bit about your night out there, because it looked like it was a pretty eventful one.
Well, my plan was to stay at the back, or at least start back there.
Yeah, it just didn't look like you were able to get enough traction to work up through the field up towards the front. It seemed like all of a sudden you started to move up and then you got stuck into some kind of mess or something. How treacherous is it out there on these dirt tracks?
Yeah, I was just talking with Jason. I don't think I ever got over half throttle the whole race. It's the only way you can keep the truck straight. Every time I'd make a few passes, the caution would come out and I'd lose all my spots again. I just tried to stay out of trouble most of the race, and if I could finish, I was going to be happy.
Well, luckily you were able to come home with an 11th place finish. Do you like racing on dirt, or is it just something that you don't enjoy, or is it something that it's just the trucks or this number of cars, or tell us a little bit about your experience with dirt.
No, I grew up racing on dirt all over Texas and Oklahoma. And that's where my roots are at. Now on this, it's a little bit different. The truck's a lot different. I like racing the modifieds a lot, but yeah, I'm a dirt racer.
Well, let me ask you something, because I live in North Texas. Did you ever race at Super Bowl Speedway in Greenville, Texas? Do you know?
Yeah, just a couple of times, and it was a long time ago. I raced mainly at Devil's Bowl and over in the Kennedale area. Cowtown and Kennedale Speedway.
Absolutely. Well, that Super Bowl Speedway is my local racetrack. That's the track I head to most Saturday nights, but I've been to Devil's Bowl a couple times and Kennedale as well, so that's pretty cool to hear. Next race in the Truck Series side of things is Michigan. That will be next week. What are your thoughts about Michigan?
Oh, I like Michigan. It's tough to pass. It's a wide open track, so it'll be fun. I'm just going to do my diligence and just try to stay out of trouble like I always do.
All right. Well, Tim, we'll see you next week at Michigan, and best of luck there.
Thank you, guys. You guys put on a good broadcast.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is Tim Knott, who comes home tonight with an 11th place finish. And I do believe that Tanner Sharp has caught up with Evan Black, possibly, or Mitch Brown, I think, in the 51. I think it's Mitch Brown, correct, Tanner?
Yeah, I'm catching up with Mitch Brown right here. And hey, Mitch Brown, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Mitch, crazy night. You started in the middle of the field, and it had been crazy right from the get-go. You start 15th, and you were kind of up and down that leaderboard, but you eventually found yourself in the top 5 majority of the time, either 5th or 6th or 7th majority of that time, but still the chaos still followed you up towards the front. Tell me about your night.
We're just trying to go for points tonight. We're not really a dirt guy, so we just try to salvage as much points as we can, and we just kind of just try to get to the front as fast as we can and not try to cause any wrecks or get any strikes. But it's just kind of so hard with these trucks, because these trucks get so sideways, and if you lift for someone, you lift for someone, and you're liable to get passed by 4 or 5 other trucks or get run over by those same trucks.
Yeah, it sounds like a very difficult deal there, Mitch. And tell me about the handling of that truck. It's different than any other dirt thing like sprint cars or modifieds. This is a NASCAR truck. And how important was it to keep that high line so you wouldn't lose that momentum? It just seemed like that middle to bottom groove didn't seem to work at times majority of the night. How important was it to run that high line, and how difficult was to keep track position?
It was basically make or break from where I stood at. You wanted to try to be on the high line, at least like the second or third lap after a restart. You could work the bottom, but I mean, those first 2 laps you would have to try to find a hole to get to the top. Otherwise, you'd just be drop it back.
And you did mention that you're not really a dirt guy, so the dirt racing is over now. Now we go back to asphalt, and that's the Michigan International Speedway, the 2-mile D-shaped oval for 63 laps on August 6th. How do you feel about your chances at Michigan?
I feel confident enough that we're going to get a good run. We're just trying to get to the playoffs from here on out, not try to force anything that we don't need to do. And I feel like we can get ourselves top 5.
All right, Mitch. Well, sounds good. Well, best of luck to you. You got one more race to try to make that playoff for sure at the Michigan International Speedway. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us, and best of luck at Michigan International Speedway next week.
All right, later, guys.
That is Mitch Brown, folks, who finishes here tonight in the 6th position. And I do believe Mr. Peter Short has caught up with... Peter, who did you catch up with?
I caught up with driver of the number 17 machine. That would be Richard Stallings. And let me tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this number 17 had quite the ride here tonight, up and down the field, but definitely had some things go his way right at the end. And the bright blue and yellow 17 comes home with a 3rd place finish here tonight. Richard, a great run here, especially there at the end, getting through the melees, getting back up near the front. Tell us a little bit about your night.
Yeah, I thought the first time I got in a caution, my night was pretty much done, but worked my way back up to the field and then got in another caution. And the first one was all my doing. I got loose up top, and it's hard to cut down in the middle of a turn when someone's loose in front of you, and I got rear-ended, and so it's kind of my fault on that one. But that second one, that one kind of hurt because I thought I was good to go, and then someone came out of nowhere. I guess they lost it up above me, but it was a very interesting race and very fun, and also having 2 Chattanooga, Tennessee guys come up, and finish 2nd and 3rd is kind of cool. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, the Chattanooga choo-chooing up into the top 3 spots. Definitely a great run for you tonight. Are you one of those drivers who like racing on dirt? Do you race on dirt often here in the iRacing service? Of course, it's relatively new to the service. I personally find a lot of fun. What about yourself?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I grew up, around dirt racing, so, dirt is naturally what I gravitate to. But, I guess I enjoy it a little bit more because, it takes a little bit finessing and, throttle control. So it's fun for me, especially when we go to some of these slick asphalt tracks. I get to, show a little bit more.
Absolutely. And like you said, you kind of finesse it, but at the same time, you got to be get your arms out and really fight your way up through the field, and that's definitely what you did on multiple occasions here tonight. But one track that we go to next on the Truck Series side of things next week is Michigan, and that's one of those racetracks that can tend to be somewhat slick, especially if you get a long run. What are your thoughts about Michigan next week?
Yeah, Michigan, I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot of drafting, of course, because it's such a big track and fast track. So looking forward to that, especially multiple grooves. Hopefully it won't, be one lane, and we'll be able to spread it out for the fans and put on a good show.
Well, absolutely. Great points day for you last week, Richard, moving up in points, but a good night here this week, getting your first podium finish of the year. Hopefully you can back that up with a good run next week in Michigan. But before we let you go, you got some shout-outs for us?
Well, I just got to thank you guys and Sam Maxwell, of course, for putting this on and sponsoring us. Jim Foose putting it on, but you guys at 3Y TV do a great job, and I appreciate everything you guys do.
All right. Well, like I said, Richard, best of luck at Michigan next week on the Truck Series side of things here in the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series, and we'll see you then. All right. Well, that is driver of the number 17, Richard Stallings, and I do believe that Tanner Sharp is caught up with your second place finisher, Brad Cross, in the number 30 machine.
I've caught up with Brad Cross, who coulda, shoulda, woulda won this race. And Brad, bridesmaid once again, man, 2 years in a row here at Eldora Speedway on trying to capture that checkered flag. You led early on, and you were doing such a fantastic job. Just some slight contact with Evan Black kind of put you behind the 8-ball a little bit. Tell me about your race overall.
Yeah, slight contact's an understatement. I guess he got mad because I passed him clean, and he decided to just drive in the back of me, but it's alright. I mean, he can go back and watch the replay. Maybe he'll calm down later. But me and him got together on a restart there in turn 1 and 2, and like he was in the wall and I was in his door. And I mean, you can go back and watch the replay. Like I was out of the gas trying to get both of us out of the wall in a sense, and it was just kind of a clustered start on everybody's part, I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna take full blame, but I mean, I wasn't the only one, but I slid him going into 3 and cleared him by a mile, and he just decided to drive into the back of me instead of trying to turn underneath me. But other than that, I mean, it wasn't bad starting 3rd and just kind of rode for a little bit. And like I said there at the beginning of the race, I got by him cleanly and the caution came out, and we had a good race as far as I was concerned. I mean, there was a few cautions, yeah, and that was to be expected because not a lot of these guys run on dirt a lot, and just kind of once a year thing. Oh, cell phone. But yeah, it's kind of funny. My phone's been blowing up like the last 30 laps of the race. I'm trying to concentrate. It's like, good lord. But no, I mean, overall it's a good race. I mean, I'm more of a dirt racer myself versus asphalt, and it's kind of like y'all said in the pre-race stuff. I've had this one circled since last year when my teammate got by me with a couple laps to go, and I was like, maybe we might have a good shot at winning this one, but apparently they had other plans.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, I am actually jealous, and I kind of would like your ringtone that you'd have on your cell phone for sure. But that was going to lead to my next question. If you are a dirt racer on iRacing, because you seem to have a knack for this kind of racing on dirt, you already answered that for me. But hey, overall, how important is track position on dirt racing? Is there a strategy in any kind of vehicle that you drive on dirt on iRacing, or do you kind of get into the car and you just go out and try your best?
I mean, just me personally, I guess it all depends on what car you're driving. As far as the trucks go, like especially here at Eldora, yeah, track position's everything. I mean, on a restart, you might be able to, grab a couple of spots, roll in the middle to the bottom, but as you've seen, tonight and last year, and even in the real truck race, you can run the bottom for a few laps, but other than that, it's mostly and mainly, everybody's running around the middle to the top and kind of Bobby Pearson it off the wall, if you will.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we've seen a lot of that tonight here at Eldora. But Brad, the next race for the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series is going to be Slice 125 at Michigan International Speedway. How do you feel about your chances at Michigan on August 6th?
Oh, I'll just be completely honest. I've still got some learning to do on some of these asphalt tracks. Like I can hold my own at most of them and be a top 5, top 10 truck, but there's some of these places where I'll be openly honest and admit that I'm probably not going to do so well. And I'll be honest, next week Michigan's probably one of those tracks where I'm just going to be there to be there, so to say. But I don't know, I like it, and I like this series. It's fun, and everybody's, the competition in this league is just, I don't know, I guess you'd say next to none almost. Like these guys are all real close and everybody's so fast. It's always usually really good racing no matter what track we go to or configuration. It's usually pretty good, but I don't know. I guess we'll show up next week and just kind of be there to be there and see what happens, because I don't forget. So some of these guys that wanted to play dirty tonight, they're racing for points and I'm not, so they'll either have to pass me or lap me at some time.
All right, Brad. Well, before we let you go, is there any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, obviously you guys, y'all do an awesome broadcast. It's always fun to go back and watch the replays, and on some of the races that I haven't made this year, I've watched them over my phone or something when I've been at work or something. So you guys do an awesome broadcast. Like I said, I like watching them, and I know a lot of other people do. Jim and Sam, everybody over at the league for sponsoring it and putting it on and continuing to stick with it when a lot of people were trying to run it down into the ground. There's a few people trying to put a bad name on the league, but I think it's a good one, and all my guys over at Maxed Out, just we all stick together, and usually when it comes time to get down to it, we're all racing right there with each other at the end of the race most of the time. So got a good group of guys in my corner.
I think it's a great league as well, and I don't care to hear all the negative criticisms, so for sure. But Brad, thank you for taking the time to talk with us this evening here at Eldora, and best of luck at Michigan International Speedway, and hopefully everything comes around for you and you get that victory.
Yeah, thank y'all. Again, like I said, y'all do an awesome broadcast, and I finally got the info for the Discord here right at the last minute, so I appreciate somebody getting that to me.
All right, Brad, take care. We'll see you at Michigan. All right, now that was Brad Cross, who finishes in the second position here tonight, and now we go one step up down in victory lane, where Peter Short has caught up to Evan Black.
I have caught up with your race winner here of the Eldora Dirt Derby here in the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series. And my oh my, Evan Black, you had to fight for the hard-charging number 30 machine right behind you. You both banged doors a couple times, and you were able to come out on top with a clutch restart there right at the end of the race. But before you get to that last restart, talk us through your race from your perspective, and then tell us how you were able to hold on to that W.
Yeah, started second and just kind of hung around there, got up to the lead for a little bit, and Brad got by me there, and we had a little bit of contact on one of the restarts through 1 and 2. He kind of put me in the wall a little bit, and then tried to throw a slider on me in 3 and 4, and I didn't lift. I'm just going to say that. I didn't lift for him. So I'm not going to really tolerate you sliding up in front of me like that. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there was definitely some contact there, and yeah, like you said, you kept your foot in it. It definitely was a really tight call, so we will see what happens. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but nonetheless, I hope you're down there celebrating. Are you one of those drivers that like to go out there and race on dirt? You definitely were super quick tonight. You were fast in practice, qualifying, and ultimately getting the checkered flag first here. Is dirt one of your fortes?
Not really. I actually don't really run it that much. I do maybe one race a month, if that, maybe. I really enjoy racing dirt. I just don't really do it much. I haven't really found a league or anything or official stuff that I really like to run, but I do really enjoy it, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
It definitely showed your muscle here tonight. Like I said, fast in all sessions. That was pretty awesome to see. But next race, not on dirt. We go to the 2-mile D-shaped oval in Michigan here in the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series once again. And what are your thoughts about Michigan?
Oh, I hate that track, so that's going to be an interesting race. We'll see how it goes. I've never really been able to run good there, so we're just going to kind of go out and hope to, just get up there and stay in the top 10 and hopefully have some speed to maybe go contend for a top 5. But I've just never been able to figure that track out. It's just that track and Auto Club I just have not been able to figure out. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, it will be the newer scanned version of Michigan, I presume. Maybe the newer version will have or be a little bit kinder to you than the old version was. But before we let you go, you got some shout outs for us?
Yeah, I need to thank our sponsors, Primetime Racing, Rapid Fire Graphics, Air Movement and Fabrications, and thanks to all my teammates here tonight. I know a lot of them didn't have very good runs, but we're all up front for a little bit, so yeah, it's pretty fun, and thanks to you guys for the podcast.
Absolutely. Well, nonetheless, you come home victorious once again picking up what appears to be your third win so far this year in the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series. You do have the playoffs upcoming in just the fact that there's only one race left before the playoffs begin. How important is it to have momentum going into the playoffs?
It's fairly important. I know I'm just kind of here looking at the tracks in the playoff, and most of them I do feel pretty good about, so that's going to be a lot of fun. You know, we have a Mosport in there, which I feel really confident about that race, so yeah, I think we're going to have a pretty good shot to go out there and just hope we have a good run and hopefully become the champion.
Yeah, and for those people watching who don't know the races in the playoffs, the first round is Bristol, Mosport, and Las Vegas. Second round, Talladega, Lucas Oil, and ISM. And then we all finish up the season in November 12th at Homestead, Miami. And Evan Black, you'll be featuring in at least the first round. Hopefully you make it through to the final round. But nonetheless, best of luck next week at Michigan, the final round before the playoffs begin. And we'll see you then.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, well, that is your race winner, Evan Black. We'll see if there's any more people here on pit road. Maybe we can sneak in possibly just one more interview. Let's see if the broadcast producer says if he's got someone lined up for us. Let's see if we can grab Jim Foose, because he kept that number 42 Menards Toyota Tundra pretty clean here tonight. Tanner, let's see if you can grab Jim.
I just grabbed up with Jim Foose here, as he had a solid top 10 finish here tonight. And Jim, you look like you were in the natural disaster back there, the eye of the storm. Some damage here and there, but you still come out unsaved with a 9th place finish. Tell me about your night overall.
I don't want to go dirt racing for quite some time. So this was we started out not good. I mean, we don't put the time and effort into this race like we do a lot of other races, and we probably should, because we probably would be a lot better at it. But this is this is one of those races that we're actually going to the real race. So a lot of the effort and my time in the last couple days has been spent checking off my checklist for our event that we're having there, and getting everything together, loading the car, doing all that. So I didn't have a lot of time to do practice. So it kind of threw us a little bit of curveball. But it really we just didn't. I've never been comfortable in a truck on dirt. They do a kind of unpredictable things, and so we drive it like Grandpa going to pick up a milkshake from McDonald's, and usually get a decent finish out of it.
This was the finish that you really needed, Jim, because you were 7th walking in point standings, walking into this race here at Eldora, and this was a good finish for you. So it's good points paying. Now you got one more race to go. Are you still thinking points, or are you still trying to get that victory out of the way?
Points don't matter anymore to us. We are locked into the playoffs. So we had to leave here with, I think it was 42 points or more ahead of the 13th place driver, which is really going to end up being, I think, the 66, because the 20's dropping out of it. So with that, we just, we had to leave here that many points. We were 72 points ahead of them coming in, and so we could have had really a bad night and still probably locked ourselves in. But we ended up finishing ahead of them with our Menards Toyota, and gained points. So we go to Michigan next week. It's all about playoff points for us, and just getting the 1.5-mile, 2-mile program a little bit better than it's been over the summer months. We've struggled with this new engine package. It really just does not fit my driving style very well. We've really struggled to adapt to it.
I got 2 questions here for you here, Jim. Speaking of, as you talk about your struggles here with these engine packages of these trucks on iRacing, the first question is there any pressure on this 42 team? Now that you're locked in the playoffs, that pressure's off. But since you got one more race to go, and then after that you go to Bristol, Mosport, and so forth for the playoffs, is there any pressure on this 42 team? And how are you really looking forward to Michigan to try to salvage a good finish, or even possibly a victory?
Anything can happen at Michigan. I'm going to answer those kind of in reverse. So anything can happen at Michigan. A couple years ago, a guy that stayed out got lucky with a caution. I guess with the green-white checkers, that kind of changes it a little bit. But you just never know what could happen there. Fuel mileage, pitch strategy, all that comes into play when you go to Michigan. So for us, that's to answer the other part of the question. That's not something that we're really looking forward to. As far as our outlook on the playoffs, we started the year off really strong. We got into a slump there right around Dover, and then kind of continued on down through the months here, through actually now the end of July. So yeah, the top 10 here. I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot. You're probably going to get a top 10 if you're running at the end of the race, or you're going to be wrecked out. So, I mean, it's one way or the other, and we've been lucky enough that the 3 years that we've done this, I think we have 2 top 10s, and I think last year we finished 11th. So, no biggie there. It doesn't really rejuvenate us going forward. It gives us a little bit of a stop on the fall, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But as far as the playoffs go, we've been here, done that before. I mean, we've won the championship. We won it 3 years ago, 2016. So, outlook-wise, we're still the same old as we've been. The one we're worried about is the road course. We got to get through Canadian Tire to really have a shot to advance to the next round. We don't have Talladega to kind of save us if we needed to. And last year we didn't advance out of this round, so or out of the first round. So for us, I guess in a way we can take this and go forward, use Michigan as a test, and then we have those couple races there. Bristol's usually a good one. Canadian Tire, we just got to finish the race this year, not blow up like we have the last few years, and then go to Vegas and hope that maybe we have something a little different for Vegas than we've had for the last couple mile and a halves.
I do sense confidence in you, Jim, for sure, and you look like you're prepared. You're starting to prepare yourself, ready to go for this fight, for sure, and that's a good attitude right there for the future. But Jim, congratulations on that top 10 finish here tonight at Eldora. It's out of the way, ready to go. Now we go to Michigan, and best of luck in the future races, and hope we can get the victory lane and win that championship. Yeah, Tanner, don't put any money on me in Vegas. Okay, I won't curse you then. I won't. we'll see what we can do. Sometimes we hit our stride at this time of year, and it's about that time of year. So, just want to say thank you to Hulko, Intercon, Maxwell, Menards, Toyota, everybody that helps us put this thing together. American Regardless. By the way, patriotic brand over there. It's veteran owned and operated. AmericanRegardless.com, guys. Check them out. They got awesome apparel. I mean, it is really, really, really cool. And it's a small business owned by a veteran, actually owned by an iRacer. So you're not only supporting a veteran-owned and operated business, you're supporting an iRacer that has put his own money up to start an apparel brand. And, of course, iRacingiFlag along with us. So, and thank you guys at 3Wide TV for everything this year. So we'll move on to Michigan, and we'll see you guys next week. All right. Thank you very much, Jim, for speaking with us, and we will see you in Michigan. All right. Well, that's Jim Foose, who finishes in the 9th position here tonight at the Eldora Speedway. And let's go ahead and cover the unofficial running order right now, as we have on screen. Evan Black taking the victory. Brad Cross in the 2nd position. Richard Stallings finishes in 3rd. Good showing by Richard Stallings. Brad Dyer coming from 23rd position finishes 4th. Alexander Pelican in the 5th position. Mitch Brown in 6th. Jordan Harnish in 7th. And Jeremy Banning gets the 7th position. 8th place, excuse me, Jeremy Banning. Jordan Harnish is in 7th. Jim Foose 9th, and rounding out that top 10, Jonathan Holstein there. Peter?
Yeah, coming home in the 11th position would be Tim Knott in the 41 machine. Edward Bray comes home in 12th. Sam Maxwell finishes 13th, of course. Sam Maxwell sporting the Sam Maxwell Customs machine and the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series. Coming home lucky number 13. Alan Young in the 24 comes home 14th. Doug Mullins, we saw him a couple times spun around tonight. He comes home 15th. Troy Haight 16th. Tyler Seville He will be the first truck multiple laps down, finishing 17th. Will Warsler 5 laps down at the end, finishing 18th. Andy Veltman 6 laps down. Jared Haggerty rounds out your top 20.
21st position, Jason Stewart, who was in the top 5 majority of the night, till some bad luck struck him. Brandon Kreutz, 22nd. Jimmy McKee, 23rd. Alex Kesey, 24th. J.R. Bash finishes 25th. Jack Wells, 26th. Chris Titus, 27th. Kelsey Rogers in 28th. Travis Rucker, 29th. Running out the top 30, Corey Silva, Josh Walker, 31st, and Steve Bahula, who did not start tonight's festivities, will finish 32nd. But before we let everybody go this evening, we have quite a few thank yous to give out, and I have a list of them right here, because I can't remember them all by heart. But here we are. Sam Maxwell, thank you very much for sponsoring the Truck Series side of the American Sim Racing Series, the Sam Maxwell Customs, Sim Marketing Solutions, Driven Designs, iRacing, Twitchy Race Reports, iRacingIFlag, Kirkwood Transportation, Coffman Racing Graphics. Thank you very much for all your sponsorships of the league, of the American Sim Racing League. Thank you to the league organizers and its drivers today for putting on such a great show, and as well, thank you to the team today. You have Peter and Carlos Acosta. Carlos, thank you very much for everything you've done and for telling us what was going on, even though we had some technical issues here tonight, but we got through them. We called the race, and it was a good race to call here at Eldora. So Carlos, good job on everything that you do for the 3Y TV. And next time we're on 3Y TV action for the American Sim Racing Series is going to be on next week. I got to get my calendar up here right now, so it's Michigan, I believe. Yep, Michigan International Speedway next week. You got to join it because it's the last race before the playoffs on the Truck Series side. It's called the Slice 125 at Michigan, presented by Porcupine. 63 laps, 126 miles, or 125 miles that race will be at the D-shaped oval up in Brooklyn, Michigan in the Irish Hills. So please join us next week. I'm Tanner Sharp, Peter Short, and Carlos Acosta. We'll see you then.
See ya!